This uniform is way too tight, I thought to myself as I carried a tray of sparkling wine through the grand hall. Today was the extravagant wedding of my half-sister, Mia. She was wearing a custom silk gown, standing right next to my stepmom, Victoria. Just this morning, Victoria threw my suitcase out by the back sheds and declared, "You will serve through this reception. And tomorrow morning. I don't want to see your face on this property ever again." Right now, they were raising a glass to celebrate selling this entire heritage wine estate to a massive property developer immediately after the wedding. But what they didn't know is that inside the pocket of my cheap, $10 apron was the trust deed, proving I owned every single inch of these 300 acres. And I was about to turn their happiest day into a living nightmare. My name is Chloe. I'm 27 years old. I'm the daughter of my father's first wife. My mum passed away when I was 5. And when my father remarried Victoria, my childhood officially ended. Victoria brought along Mia, a child spoiled rotten from birth. From the day they stepped into the house, I was shoved into a cramped attic room. While Mia got private school, horseback riding, and an unlimited credit card, I had to scrub floors and work out in the family vineyard just to earn my keep. My father was a weak man. He always turned a blind eye to Victoria's cruelty. "Just let it go, mate, she's under a lot of stress," was the only excuse he'd ever give. But I wasn't entirely alone. My granddad, Arthur, the founder of this estate, was the only one who truly loved me. Instead of buying me expensive toys, he taught me how to smell the soil, how to select grape varieties, and how to run this entire operation. "Mia might know how to spend money, Chloe," my granddad once said, stroking my hair. "But you are the only one who knows how to make it. The land has a soul, and it only answers to the one who truly sweats for it." Last year, my granddad passed away. My father, due to failing health, handed over total management of the estate to Victoria. Immediately, she cut off my trust fund, forced me to drop out of uni, and turned me into a cheap, salaried employee on my own family's land. But her greed didn't stop there. Last month, Mia got engaged to the son of a major Sydney property developer. At the family dinner that night, I was pouring water when I heard their plan, loud and clear. "I've already signed the preliminary agreement." Victoria smiled smugly. "After the wedding, your husband's family will buy this estate outright. We'll bulldoze old Arthur's vineyard to build a massive eco-resort. I'll use that $20 million to buy you too a luxury penthouse in the CBD." My heart stopped. The vineyard was my granddad's life's work. I accidentally dropped a glass. Victoria snapped around, her eyes sharp as daggers. "You useless trash. Clean that up now. And remember, after your sister's wedding, you pack your bags and get out. This house will no longer shelter a burden." I didn't cry. My tears had dried up when I was 15. The next morning, I quietly took the train into the city and walked into the office of our family solicitor, Mr. Vance, my granddad's oldest friend. When he saw me, Mr. Vance sighed and took off his glasses. "Your granddad was right. She couldn't even wait a year." He opened his safe and pulled out a thick file. "Your father and Victoria think they hold the inheritance based on the joint will. But Arthur wasn't a fool. 3 years ago, when he found out he was sick, he established a blind trust. All the property deeds and the winery were transferred into that trust." I took the file, my hands trembling. "What does that mean?" "It means Victoria doesn't own a single inch of dirt here." Mr. Vance smiled. "And the head of the trust, the sole person with the power to decide the fate of this estate, is you, Chloe. You just need to activate it." But Mr. Vance also warned me, to activate it, I had to declare my ownership in front of the board, or the family, at the exact moment they intentionally tried to illegally transfer the assets. And that moment would be tomorrow's wedding. Back to reality. The outdoor wedding reception was in full swing, under crystal chandeliers. Over 200 VIP guests were raising their glasses. I stood in the shadows, wearing my waitress uniform, clutching the paper inside my apron pocket. Victoria stepped up to the podium. Looking radiant in a silk dress, she held the microphone with a triumphant smile. "Ladies and gentlemen," her voice rang out. "Today is not just a joyous day for my daughter, Mia. It marks a new chapter. Tomorrow, we will officially sign the transfer of the Blackwood estate to Horizon Property Group to build the region's largest resort." The guests applauded. The groom's family nodded approvingly. Mia beamed. Right then, I stepped out of the shadows. No tray in my hands. I walked straight up to the stage. "Chloe, what do you think you're doing? Get down from there immediately," Victoria hissed through gritted teeth, struggling to maintain her fake smile in front of the guests. I grabbed the second microphone on the podium. The feedback whined, and the entire hall fell dead silent. "Sorry for the interruption," my voice echoed, calm and icy. "But there's a slight error in Victoria's speech. She cannot sell this property to Horizon Group." The groom's family frowned. My father jumped up. "Chloe, have you lost your mind?" "Security." I pulled the red-stamped court document from my apron. "Because, to sell something, you actually have to own it first." I held the paper up high. "This is Arthur's trust deed. All 300 acres, the main house, and the winery do not belong to my father, and they certainly do not belong to Victoria. They belong to the Arthur Trust. And I, Chloe, am the sole legal heir and the active trustee." The air was sucked out of the room. Victoria's face went from flushed red to chalk white. You're lying. That's a fake," she screamed, lunging forward to snatch the paper. But Solicitor Vance stepped out from the front row of guests. "I am the family's legal counsel. I confirm this document is 100% legal. Every sale negotiation Victoria has made in the past month constitutes property fraud." The CEO of Horizon Group, the groom's father, stood up abruptly, glaring furiously at Victoria. "Were you trying to scam us into signing a fraudulent contract? You're selling land that isn't yours." Mia shrieked. "Mum, what is going on? Where is my penthouse?" My father looked at me, his eyes full of regret and pleading. "Chloe, darling, we are family." "Family?" I looked him dead in the eye, then turned to Victoria. "This morning, you kicked me out of the house. You said this place doesn't shelter a burden. You were absolutely right." I pulled out my phone, put it on speaker, and called the private security team I had hired that afternoon. "You can come in now. Please help Victoria and Mia pack their personal belongings. They have exactly 30 minutes to get off my property." Victoria collapsed right there, in her expensive silk dress. The massive wedding had turned into a tragicomedy, in front of hundreds of judging, high society eyes. I didn't ruin Mia's wedding. The groom still married her, but his family completely cut off their financial support once they realized the bride's family was actually penniless. Victoria and Mia had to move into a cramped, rented flat in the suburbs. As for my father, I allowed him to live in a small cottage on the edge of the estate, on the strict condition that he never interfered with the business again. I took off that waitress uniform and put on a managerial blazer. Standing on the balcony, looking out over my granddad's endless vineyards, I knew I had done the right thing. Silence and endurance are not weaknesses. Sometimes, they are simply how you sharpen your blade in the dark, waiting for the perfect moment to strike a single, decisive blow. No shouting. No violence. Just the truth and the law. People can take your clothes, your room, and your money. But they can never take your willpower and the core values you've built with your own hands. Never let anyone call you worthless, because who knows, you might just be the owner of the very ground they stand on.